Welcome to the lecture on strings data type. So let's define some string data type and then we'll work around and understand strings. For this, go to example 4 strings. Then the logical flow will try to define and work with strings. There will be a variable file. Open up this file, string data type.php. So I'll open my Sublime, Control N, Control S, and I'm going to open this file. So let's understand string data type first. Okay, then we'll jump into understanding the exercises and examples of it. Strings are defined in double quotes and single quotes. So this we have seen previously in different lectures. You can define your string within double quotes and single quotes. If you want to do a variable interpolation, then it will work in the double quote. So double quote string will interpolate variables, means it will assign the value of that variable when you use double quotes, wherein in single quote it does not do it. It does not do the variable interpolation. No limit on how much string variable holds, but limited with the system memory. Obviously, when you are running a file and then that file is reading like 10 GB of data into a variable, and if your memory is not catered for that, means your memory is completely utilized by your program, then your system will just throw the error and the program will be shut down with some memory dump. Okay, so remember, there's no hard limit to it, but there's a limit attached with your system memory. You use the escape characters to escape the double quotes. So if you want to print a double quotes inside a double quote, you use something called as a escape character. We're going to look at all these examples and you can use it in the double quotes and other characters as well. Well, to work with the strings, there are methods available. So look for the blocks that I have on the string. And there are a couple of examples on how to manipulate the data, how to chop the data, how to extract the data, how to find and replace. All those methods are basically available to work with the string. Okay, so let's quickly define and print some variables, string variables. So let's do an exercise, define a string and use strings. So for that let me define a variable and then we'll say John Smith. Then we'll have two variables, and remember that the variable can be defined with double quotes or single quotes. Let's print this. So to print this in double quotes, you can use a variable name directly like this. Okay, and this is gonna print the name 1 and the name 2. Okay, so let's quickly look into this PHP. Okay, so you see the variable name 1 is replaced with that value of that variable. Okay, even the name 2. So if I say 1 and 2, then you can find the difference 1 and 2. Okay, this is called a string interpolation. If you can even see this with the single quotes, and you will find $name1 and $name2. The single quotes does not replace the variable with the variable value. It just print whatever is inside this single quote. Okay, next look at how to combine strings. Okay, so let's say you have two string and you want to combine into one string. How are you gonna do that? Means if you have a name 3 and you want to combine name 1 dash name 2, right? You have a name 1, then you can use dot here and you can say name 2, and then we'll echo name 3. Okay, so we use the dot notation. The dot notation is used to combine the strings together. Okay, then we'll use backslash to escape the characters. Let's say you have a variable named 4. You want to print double quotes inside the double quotes, means you have a string, special string, right? And you want to have the special in double quotes. So you use the /, that's the escape sequence, to escape these quotes. Okay, let's print that. So you can see the double quotes here, and if you remove this, it will error out saying that it's not a properly formulated string, because the string start and ends here, then it doesn't know what to do with it. Okay, so in order to print that, you have a /. Okay, and you can use the same escape sequence characters. You can print that. You have tab, you can have 2 tabs, and that will have 2 tabs here because there's a 2 tab here. And let's say you want to print /t. Okay, let's see whether it escapes this value or not, or whether it prints it. So if you see the conditions here, it doesn't really escape anything that it wants, right? If you say /t /s/i/s, it basically prints everything, right? Because it is escaping this value, and this t has a special meaning compared to this t. Okay, and if you put a t here, let's do a simple exercise. It has a special meaning to it, that is t is replaced with tab. Okay, anything that is predefined will be converted, anything which is not will be printed as it is. And if you want to take this example and you want to simply convert this into a single quotes, let's see what happens. So in single quotes, you're trying to use the escape sequence. Okay, so in single quotes, typically nothing will happen. It doesn't really care whether you have /t's or you have an escape character. It just print whatever you want to print. So one of the good way is if you want to print double quotes inside a double quotes, you can convert them into single quotes if you don't need any interpolation or you don't have any escape sequence characters. So that way you can just print whatever you want in the single quotes. Okay, and if you want to print the length of the string, you have something called a string length. You just have to pass the variable in it, and it will print the length of that variable. So there are many methods available for us to work with string. So I'll show you a very good example how to search them in the php.net. Okay, so if you don't know, let's say you know there's a string length, but you don't know how to do a substring. The simple way is you can copy this str length, and you don't know what is the method for substring, and put a / go to str length. Okay, once you're in the str length, on the right hand side you will try to find str length, and you will find all the string operations here. That's the beauty of PHP. They have organized in such a way that even if you know one of the method that is nearest to what you're trying to do, all the other methods, let's say you have no print, but you don't know what is the other print methods that you have, then basically you have printf, right? So it's trying to put all those methods nearest to that function that is doing. So string length will have stri, str. This is a finding the position of the string, and then this is a compare of the string. So all this basically are string operations, right? You want to do a lower and upper, basically it's all available here. You can go and then read about it. So that's the beauty of how the PHP code library is organized. And even if you don't know, you can go to strpause and then basically goes to that function. Okay, you don't need to remember the whole URL. Even if you know a little bit of functions that is nearest to what you want to search, you can even type it here, and then basically you can go to that and you can try to find from the list library here. Okay, so I hope it's clear on how to work with strings. You can define a variable with double quotes or single quotes, and you can even print them using the double quotes and single quotes. Then how to combine the strings, you can use a dot operator to combine the strings. How to escape sequence, the escape character is / with which you can escape the characters and then print them. And /t and /n /r basically have special meanings in strings. So if you want to print them, the best way is you convert them into single quotes and print them. Okay, and there are methods available. I've shown you how to search the methods, and there are a very good library on how to deal with strings and how to play around with strings in PHP. Okay, and try not to write your own methods, because in PHP there are so many methods that's available from PHP themselves to play around with strings, to cut the string, to find the string, to do all sorts of things on the strings, which will be, on a very high level, it will serve your purpose unless you have a very custom requirement. But most of the requirement can be found from the string documentation here. So highly recommend, go and read the documentation, find your library and directly use them in your programs. Well, that's all on the lecture on string data type, and I'll see you in the next one.